Mike, we already knew this, but it just got reassured that these guys off the field are still hyper competitive. They
Huh.
had a team bonding event the other day where they went paintballing against each other. And I don't know, man. I don't know how the scoring system worked. I don't know how the tournament system worked, but it sounded like they had about 15 winners on like three different teams. So who knows who's the real there? But let's just go through the roster and draft who we would want on our paintball team if we wanted to come out on top as champions.
It's draft week. It's draft week. You and Nick had the flag football Olympic flag football draft the other day.
Yeah.
Um, poor performance by you, by the way. Hopefully, you did more research
My
today.
my
Nick
squad.
got in your head. You'd be like drafting Quincy Riley in the first round. You panicked. Man, it was rough. But look, Nick made the point afterward. He had two guys he didn't want to draft in that, and that he thought everyone would take right away. And I agreed with him on Taysom Hill because Taysom Hill's game is not flag football. Taysom Hill
Yeah.
likes to run into you, run over you. He invites contact. He doesn't look for the open field. But Nick also said he wouldn't take. Alvin Kamara made the good point about him having such great contact balance. Kamara was the first guy I thought of, though, but obviously vintage Kamara. When he used to talk about how he sees the field like a matrix. I mean, his balance is the best thing I've ever seen. I
Yeah.
feel like if Kamara went down the career path of becoming an Olympic flag football player, he might have been one of the best ever. The only other Saints player in history that I would have taken maybe is Darren Sproles ahead of that because, it's going to be hard to grab those flags in addition to the way he moves around the field. But I think vintage Kamara would be a fantastic flag football player. But the paintball draft is interesting because you got two things going for you. Like I don't know if they're just playing hide out and don't get hit, or if there's like a capture the flag element to this where you have to get somewhere
Yeah.
because some of those same guys who can move are obviously going to be valuable. But my first thought was probably a hunting background, probably the patience to sit back,
Yeah.
hide in your bunker, and let the impatient players come out and expose themselves that try to rush at you. You stay there. You say, you got to come to me. My first guess was Landon Young, and I did go up to Landon Young and ask him, and he did not say that he was the number one player, but he felt pretty good about his performance. He said he only got hit twice, once in the gun, which he didn't think should count, once on his hand. So obviously Landon Young was playing the kind of game that I thought, perch somewhere, you have to come get me. I think the guys who would be really bad at this game would be the impatient ones. When
Yeah.
I've played paintball, I get impatient. I'm like, I don't want to just sit here.
Right.
And then as soon as you're like, I'm going to go run and try to get better position, you're plucked. So
Right.
you got to be patient. So there's if there's a capture the flag element, though, we do need some of those shifty guys. So who's your first pick?
Oh, my first pick will be somebody who I know has that experience in those outdoor settings and, smaller guy, but it's to his advantage in this kind of scenario. Blake Groupie. I'm going with Blake Groupie, a guy.
You got insider information. We heard that Blake
What?
Groupie killed it.
Hey, man. Hey, don't be mad at me because I did a scouting report. You
Yeah,
said how you
you're
did
right.
yours.
Credit
So,
to him.
yeah.
We heard he was good. I think he was on the winning team. The one person you said everybody claimed they were on the winning team. Nick Saldivari told me he was on the winning team. He's another guy I thought might be pretty good. It sounds like he helped the team,
Yeah.
but I don't know that he was the standout player. But I saw in the photos that Groupie was on that winning team. It looked like Alante Taylor was on that winning team, who I would think would also be good at this.
Yeah.
Cesar Ruiz, Kelvin Banks, Foskey. I'm trying to remember who else was in that picture. But, yeah, Groupie. I want to know if you would have picked Groupie if you didn't have the inside info, but it sounds like that was a great pick.
I knew he knew how to hunt. So, yeah, I kind of would have still rocked with him. I mean, yesterday, I'll let you go next, but Kellen had mentioned the name also that,
Go ahead. We'll
yeah,
go
yes,
snake draft.
Kellen had mentioned Pete Werner.
Yeah.
So, right there, that's
Yeah.
two heavy hitters. That's two
And
heavy
I
hitters
didn't
off
think
the
of Pete
board.
Werner at first, but I see it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I definitely see it.
Kellen also mentioned Colin Saunders, but I think it was just because Colin Saunders got himself noticed. Like Kellen didn't have like the information right in front of him, like the stats.
Yeah.
And so he mentioned a couple guys that popped in his head. He said Colin Saunders, but he goes, Colin Saunders got out there early a bunch of times. I have a feeling that Colin Saunders was probably the most like he's probably one of those guys who wasn't patient enough to
Right.
sit back. So
Right.
maybe a couple of times he went and he ambushed somebody, but he probably got himself in trouble a lot too. I could see that with Colin Saunders. He wasn't sitting around letting the game come to him.
No. No, he was
Um,
attacking it
well,
at
the other thing
first.
I'm gonna do is draft a quarterback.
Okay. So who you take?
And look, I mean, that's the accuracy, that's seeing the whole field, that's the
Mhm.
strategy. That's very important to this game. I actually think this could be a specialty for Tyler Shuck, but the one I would take, and I did not see him in the photos. I think the oblique injury unfortunately probably
Okay.
sidelined him. But
Okay.
Jake Hayner, I think Jake Hayner. If there's Olympic paintball one day, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's Jake Hayner's second career path after football.
Yeah, no, I had him in the tuck, man, because I knew he was a hunter also. But you good, you got it. That's all you. A player who I think, just from seeing the pictures once again, Chris Olave.
Yep, yep.
Did you see his trigger discipline? He wasn't ready to fire, and he had his finger up there, so he looked like he had some type of experience
All
out there.
right.
Yeah, I'm going with Chris
Yeah,
Olave. I
I
think
would
his
have taken
speed and
Olave.
agility.
I also need my look for anybody watching this show that remembers Nintendo ice hockey. I'm an
What?
older guy. What you had to do is you had 3 players to choose from. You built your team,
Mhm.
and you had the big giant guy who would steal the puck from anyone if they ever ran, but they were slow. And then you had the medium guy, and then you had the little guy who could just move super duper fast
Yeah.
all around the puck. And you had to decide, so you got to build out your team. And I've got my sharpshooters. But yeah, if there's some element to somebody who has to move, I also need. I would have taken Olave, but I'll take Rashid Shaheed as my backup plan, so
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I'll take Rashid Shaheed over Alvin. Brandon Cooks could be good at it too,
He could be.
though. Ooh,
He could be because he has some of the same advantages
Brandon
as
Cooks
Blake
is
Grupe.
savvy. Brandon Cooks is savvy. All right, I'm gonna go. My team is Landon Young,
Okay.
Jake Hayner, and Brandon Cooks.
I'm gonna go Groupie, P. Werner, Chris Olave.
All right, let's go play.
Let's go. I think I got you, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think I got you.
Well, yeah, insider information.
Well, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But what is this Nintendo ice hockey, man?
So
What year are we talking
my
about?
strength? Oh gosh, we're not even talking Super Nintendo. We're definitely talking 1990ish, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe late 80s. But my strategy was I picked one super fast guy. I mean, the guy was so small that if he bumped into anything, he lost the puck. But he could move fast.
Yeah.
And then I had 3 of the big burly guys. So what I would do is I'd use my big burly guys to steal or to shoot and score because they could shoot with power.
Power, yeah.
But then I would pass to the little fast guy and I would get the puck back over to my side. So it was 3 big heavy guys and 1 little skinny guy. The medium guys did no good. I had no use for the medium.
Yeah, no use from you. Just went for the extremes on both
Yeah,
ends.
exactly.